Hello, welcome back to my channel. We are trying a different filming setup for today because I feel like mixing it up. So if you want to know about my level up update, then you're in the right place. If you have not subscribed to my channel yet, I would like to kindly remind you to do that. I would love to have you join me as I'm on this makeup journey of occasionally buying makeup, but also using what I have and trying to hit new pans and use up eyeshadows and all of that. So if that sounds good to you, then let's hop into the video. So this is unlike me because I am sharing an update that it's not really done. So in case you're new to this project, the project Level Up is from Sophie Alexandra, and what you do is for your palette, depending on what level you're on, you are trying to hit that many new pans and use every shade in the palette that many times. So this palette I brought in for level 4, and I knew that it would take me a little bit, and I've been trying to get a little creative with how I've been doing it. But yeah, I needed to hit 4 new pans and use every eyeshadow 4 times. And in here there are 20 eyeshadows, so that's a fair number of uses. And I can tell you that there's at least one that hasn't been used at all yet, but I'll go into why. And you're gonna see, technically I have hit the 4 pans, but I'm not counting the 4th one yet, and I will also go into why. So let's go ahead and stop just talking about it and I will show you. So here is, let me just take that out. Hold it this way and I'll show you my palette. All right, so this is what we're looking like. You can kind of, might do some B-roll footage to help too, because I did a little test shot and I feel like the lighting is a little bit, I don't know how I would describe it, almost like gauze-y looking, like I put some gauze over the lens. Yeah, it looked fine when I had the camera the other way, but then I realized everything's backwards. So I put it back so I can't see what you're seeing right now, but you know, like I said, that's why I can do B-roll. So the very first shade I have not used at all, and that's because it is very similar to this shade down here, okay? And so this shade, I actually have finished now, so that means then it'll be a little easier to go and use that. I also feel like I've just been doing a lot of cool tone eyeshadow looks, as evidenced today, more than warm toned. I've still been, it's like I either do like fully warm tone, like give me the orange, yellow, red all together, or cool tone and not really as much in between. So, you know, it might change as I get more into summer, but yeah, I mean, and like I said, I did use this one, so I should be able to use the other one. I might actually hold it. I am gonna hold it upside down just to make it a little easier to hold it. But yeah, so that one I didn't use at all. Oh, and I can rest this here. You might also notice, by the way, my tally marks. I have 2 rows of them because I also have going on my channel a project where I'm trying to use all of my eyeshadows in palettes 5 times each before the end of the year. It's my 5 by 2025 challenge. So I was doing that for this palette. It hadn't been completed yet. And that was also part of the reason I brought it into this one, because I figured for the shades that hadn't been finished yet, well, using it 4 times would do it because all of the shades had been used multiple times. But because so many had actually already been done too, I wanted to make sure I wasn't cheating on my Level Up project, that I was actually still using the extra 4 times as well. So yeah, that's the top row that I was having was my 5 by challenge, and then the bottom is for the Level Up. And so I'm just kind of been tallying there, and then as I complete them, I mark them off. The next shadow I have used 4 times, you know, that's all done, and I'd used it 4 times even before, actually 5 times. Yes, that one I'd actually completed before the project even, so, you know, before this project. And so I did it again for this one. So this is definitely a favorite eyeshadow of mine in here. This one, I got confused a moment. I've been marking the ones that I have pan on with a star because sometimes it's hard to remember which ones had pans before and which ones now have a pan. So this one I got a pan, and I still actually have to use it another time. I've only used it 3 times and it hit that pan. So, you know, it's not technically done in here. This one I've used 3 times. It's one of my least favorite only because I like the color and I like how it goes on, but it always seems to migrate on my face, no matter where I put it, on my eyes, lower lash line, upper. So it's more of a kind of drag to use it. So I have one more use. This shade I hit a pan in, and I've used it the 4 times. So that one's done. I was proud of that because green isn't always a favorite shade of mine, but I did it. This one that looks like it's hardly been touched, I completed it beforehand because I had it in deck of panning, I think, to use it a certain number of times, and it just kind of, like, there's a little bit of a dip in the middle here, but it's mostly getting worn down pretty evenly. So I was trying to make that another pan, but I don't know if that's going to happen anytime soon, so it's fine. But yeah, that one's completely done. This shade I've used twice. I wish it was a little bit lighter. I want to use it as an inner corner, but it's got like a little bit of a base to it that makes it harder to do that with. Wait, I just realized I kind of got, hold on. No, am I correct in that? No, I'm not. I'm sorry, because I flipped it around. Maybe I should flip this to help myself out. Okay, hold on. All right, so yeah, this one hasn't been used at all. Okay, this one was done. Yes, okay. I'm sorry, so this one is done. I'm sorry. I had used it 4 times. But still, every time I use it, I wish that it was lighter. I will say that. Okay, this one technically has been used 5 times this year, but only 2 times in this particular project, so I still need to use it 2 more times. The black, done twice over. This one was also a new pan. It was easier to hit the pan in the shiny black than this one. The matte ones in here are just pretty firmly pressed. Like even this shade, which is like a lid setting kind of shade for me, or a blend out shade, that one actually had still taken a while to hit pan in the first place. So that was kind of why I decided to go on this one versus the black. But yeah, that one's done in uses and pan. This one was done in uses twice over. This one, I've used it 5 times this year, but only 2 times in this project. And I guess I could technically add on a 3rd use. So what I got pan in, let me go ahead and show you now. So I decided to help myself out a little bit and get creative that I would do a Franken shadow, and I actually just did it. Oh, it's actually, okay, I think it actually is dry now. So sweet, I can actually test it out for you. So I'm gonna have a short up on my channel at some point. It might be actually after this video goes up. I'm just gonna schedule it for a day. I haven't finished it yet because I was waiting for it to dry anyway, so I don't know when it's going up. So this video might be first, but I will have one so you'll be able to see how I mixed it. But basically I mixed this eyeshadow, and because I decided, like, it's so close to this one, is like it's not dark enough really to be on my outer corner as much, but then it's also not really super light. It just, I don't know. It's not a favorite. So I'm like, well, could I make it more interesting? Also, I had the thought of, in my Makeup Revolution palette, there's a shade that I really didn't like. I thought about finishing it, and I'm like, you know what? Suppose I like mixed it, because it was light-ish, so it could lighten up this shadow perhaps some. And then if I added in a highlighter, and so that's what I did here. And let's see if I swatch some. Oh, it's still a little bit wet. Oh, yeah, that's actually pretty light. So that could work for me. But anyway, I'm not actually marking it as a pan on here until I think I might make it that I have to use it up. There's not actually that much in here. Or maybe if I hit pan in here, I don't know. We'll see how I choose to count it. But yeah, and then it'll count as, because this was all the rest of the Makeup Revolution shadow, and then just added in some highlighter, a pink highlighter, and this shade. So a little, just like enough to kind of get pan. So we'll see. I don't know how long it'll take me, but I have it, it's magnetized, so it's kind of fun. It's gonna go in this palette once it's fully dry, and then I can kind of carry it around with me. So I don't know, that was just something fun to do. I've been kind of getting into the frankening makeup thing a bit. All right, the next shadow is this gold one. This one has been used 5 times this year, but only twice in this project, so I have 2 more uses to go. Like I said, this one is all done. This one is also all done. It's again not a favorite, although I've had a little better luck using it recently, but I'm okay to not be using it more at this time. But I did get a really good expansion in the pan. It was kind of just like crumbling apart, and then, but I was using it. It wasn't like crumbled and then I had to dump it out. So, you know, that's fine. This shade I've only used twice so far in this project, but I had used it 5 times before that for the year. This shade is also a favorite of mine. That one's used up twice over. This one, it should be a favorite because I like the color purple. Like I like this particular color purple, but it goes on, and it's not even a satin, I feel like, or it's a really bad satin. It's just, it's not a matte in a way because it doesn't really blend out, just kind of dusts away. It's just, yeah, it's not a great quality one, which is disappointing. I've used it 8 times for the year, but only 3 times in this project, so I still have another use to go. This shade is completely done. This was in and expand those pans, so that's part of the reason I've really expanded the pan here. This one I've used 6 times so far for the year, but only twice in this project, so I still have another 2 uses. And I think it's kind of one of those shades where it's kind of a favorite in the palette. Like it's easy enough to use in different places on my eye, but it is not, it's not amazing, but it's also like one of those where it's like, oh, it feels like I should save it. And I shouldn't save it. I should use it because, you know, that's what it's there for. All right, so that is my update for this. So obviously I have not finished level 4 yet, so I will have to keep going, but that's fine because level 5 is only going to be harder to hit 5 pans and use every shade 5 times. So, you know, a different palette in case you're confused. But yeah, so I'm gonna try to insert some B-roll maybe at this point in the video or earlier if I felt like it was needed, just to kind of show you some close-ups on the pans and how things look, and maybe I should be able to put in some footage comparing it to how it was before I rolled it in. And like I said, I'll try to include a better close-up and swatching of the little Franken shade that I made. So yeah, and that's where we're at. I just figured it's been, you know, a month or so, like, let me just go ahead and give an update so you can see what we're at, and maybe you can kind of realize that, hey, even though most of the time I've been hitting my updates pretty regularly and getting the levels done and all those goals that I make, it doesn't always happen, especially if it's a harder one. So there you go. So I hope you like this video. If you do, please give it a thumbs up. Again, if you haven't subscribed, it's a great time to do it now. And until the next video, I hope that you'll be doing well, and I'll see you then. Bye.